Tarkir Dragonstorm's good.
Good. It's really good.
It's really good, in fact. The only way it could have been better is if all of the clan's dragons, all the various dragons, each had their own hobbit and set of 12 dwarves that were like chasing after them, trying to get revenge for some old
that would be
wrongdoing.
crazy.
That would be a lot of dwarves.
That's how you start. Look, right there, you just solved how they get universes beyond into the universes within.
Through the omen paths, baby. Too soon? Too soon? Not soon enough? I feel like it's not soon enough yet, man.
Hey, through the omen paths, if they did do Lord of the Rings, and then Lord of the Rings went through the omen paths and became in-universe Magic the Gathering property, would the hobbits become Kithkin?
I think they would just be halflings. They got D&D already with the halfling.
That's true.
And they also
Kithkin,
wouldn't need to do a
again,
Through the
get in
Omen
the
Paths
shaft.
version. It's already on Arena. It's already on Magic Online. So they don't need to do a Through the Omen Paths.
I'm just trying to help out Kithkin, man. They need it.
They're going to get eroded to halfling, and we're just going to be done with it. Calling it. Anyway, welcome to this, the Lord's episode of Bonus Action, a Duels and Mana Dork supplement podcast, where we pick a subject and we kind of talk about it for a little while. In this case, we're going to be reviewing the Tarkir Dragonstorm Magic the Gathering set that just came out. It just came out like a couple weeks ago.
Well, no, it just came out for us.
Oh, that's true.
For this purpose.
Yeah, for this purpose, it just came out. Pre-release wasn't, 3-4 weeks ago?
Yeah. We're going to theater of the mind this, okay? It just came out.
We were letting it marinate, gather our thoughts. We haven't even seen, official preview season start for Final Fantasy, so, I mean,
So it's still the season of Dragonstorm.
We're well within the window here. We are well within the window. I am, of course, your host today, Connor. I'm joined by Wyatt, the Typical Gemini, at Typical Gemini on all the various social medias, including YouTube, where he makes really cheap deck techs. Wyatt, are you a dragon fan, or are you a clan fan?
I'm a con fan.
I am myself a fan of a con, a CLN, a conor, a convention.
Conor, convention, WinCon.
WinCon,
there's not
love
Win Dragon.
No, exactly.
So
no one mentioned Dracogenesis. No one mentioned Tiamat. No one mentioned. Just keep it to yourself.
Right.
Dragons didn't have enough support already.
No, they didn't. They needed the help, really.
They really did. So with Tarkir Dragonstorm, we have a suite of commander decks, a bunch of new mechanics, some returning mechanics as well, a bunch of new cycles of cards, and notable cards that we need to bring up. Wyatt is, of course, being a good father. So we will first begin... Oh, the matching yellow is adorable. I love it. We will first begin with the Tarkir Dragonstorm commander decks. We're not going to be combing through the deck lists here. Those resources are aplenty online. They're guaranteed cards. You know what you're going to get. There are 5 commander decks, which is one more than the normal. This is simply because there are 5 clans on Tarkir. Each of the 5 commander decks, the Abzan Armor, Jeskai Striker, Sultai Arisen, Mardu Surge, and Temur Roar, are all led up by their Khan as the face commander, with the backup commander being the Spirit Dragon, with the exception of the Jeskai Striker commander deck, where there's a little story reason where it's Narset and the Spirit Dragon as the face commander, with Alessia, who is the Khan in training, or the upcoming Khan. I don't know the story entirely, quite frankly.
Right. What are we, lore heads?
I'm not in it for the story. I'm a commander player.
Are we Vorthos? No.
No shot. Each color of the color pie got 7 new cards each in these commander decks, as well as a single Golgari card. New, fresh designs specifically for the commander decks. There's a cycle in the commander decks, new will cycle. So if you think of Jessica's Will, where if you cast the spell, you have 2 options, and if your commander is in play, you get both options. There is a new will for each of the clans where you get 2 options, or you will just get both options if your commander is in play. None of them are as back-breakingly broken as Jessica's will is, but they're all still very solid cards, I would say. Are there any cards in particular that you would like to discuss from the commander decks? We're not going to be going through them super crazy. But...
No, I just want to say that every single one of those decks is good. That's what's really insane to me is that, sure, you might pick one out as being like, oh, this one's clearly, like, the strongest, but I don't even really think it stands head and shoulders above any of the other ones. I think all of them are pretty well-rounded as being equal. They each do something special.
Yes. Do not pay markups. If you're paying more than $40 for one of these decks, it's not really worth it, I would argue.
Yeah.
They will be dropping in price precipitously as the year goes on.
Absolutely.
In terms of print value of cards, Jeskai is at the bottom. The total value of cards there is only about $60. Nothing really crazy in the reprint department. Some really cool new design cards. Looking at the adaptive trading post and the Tempest technique. Very fun cards. The Tempest technique, an enchantment aura with Storm that gives the enchanted creature +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, which if you are storming with it, you're getting a bunch of enchantments, so you're buffing a bunch of creatures like plus whatever for how many enchantments. It's a cool card.
Design.
Cool design. Fun design. $60 in value. Mardu is the other one that is under 100, and I believe the Sultai and Abzan are both over $100 in value, with the Teamer and the Mardu a little bit under. So,
well, you don't buy the decks for the monetary value. You buy the decks to play them.
Unless there's one that has a ridiculous monetary value, in which case you just kind of got to go for it. You know,
what?
If given the option. So, this is a side tangent. At the Costco, they have the commander kits, usually, which are like a year out of print commander decks, and then they throw some packs in there and like a promo card or two.
Yeah.
Currently, they're in the Outlaws of Thunder Junction era of commander decks at the Costco.
Oh, nice.
And I got for $40, I got the quick draw deck with 4 packs and a promo. So
that's a pretty sweet deal.
Pretty sweet deal. All
need
things
to start going to the
considered.
Costco is what it sounds like.
Get that. You got to get a membership to the very exclusive club. My girlfriend just went and got the Costco credit card, which she's very, very excited for. 5% back on Costco gas.
Boom.
It's
You're losing
paying
money
for
by
itself.
not getting it, really.
And it doubles as your membership card for when you scan in, and it's like black and it looks really cool. It makes me feel vastly inferior when we're scanning into the Costco together. So, which, I mean, it's fair.
Right.
It's a fair assessment of that situation. Commander decks, good. Buy them if they're at a reasonable price and you're into that sort of thing. But we're not here to talk about the commander decks. We're here to talk about the set that is lighting the Magic world on fire right now, Tarkir Dragonstorm. Anecdotally, before we get into the specifics, what kind of vibe are you getting from Tarkir Dragonstorm? What are you seeing in your circles, Wyatt?
For me, I'm in a bunch of budget Magic circles, and everyone's really in agreement that this set has elevated a bunch of different stuff, to the budget forefront, which might not always have been there. Some of the cards that come to mind are like, just off the top of my head, not to dive too deep into them, but like Anafenza is a really cool kind of design. Duty Beyond Death, budget players always take any opportunity to have something have indestructible. I don't want to get too much into anything because I know we're going to talk about some of the stuff. But
a lot of really good budget cards.
Right. Stuff I'm very excited to brew with.
Absolutely. I can anecdotally say my local game store, I mentioned this on the regular episode of the podcast, which you can watch right now, episode 91 of the Duels and Mandorks podcast. At my local game store, this was the first time they had to stop everyone pre-ordering the pre-release kits because they were not going to have enough to actually do pre-release night. So they had to like set up a forum on their Discord server for people to sign up. I didn't get to sign up in time. I had to show up and be like, hey, if someone doesn't show up or if someone's canceled, can I get that pre-release kit? I'll pay for it. And luckily I was able to get in. There was 2 guys that had to cancel. But it was the first time they had sold out like since original Dominaria.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. People love the clans, you know, Mardu, Teamer, all that stuff.
It's a very fun design space for Magic to exist in, and yet again they've done a fantastic job of balancing these 3 color wedges that exist in it. It's very, very popular, and I think for good reason. A lot of people are saying it's the first Magic set in a very long time that's felt like a Magic set. People will point to Bloomburrow, but at the same time, Bloomburrow is a new plane of existence. It's different. And then like everything we got last year was Universes Beyond and hat sets. So it's a breath of fresh air, and people are really into it.
It is, and it's a popular plane.
Very popular plane, as you mentioned on the podcast as well. Super mega popular plane. Like, and it's not being beaten into the ground like Ravnica has been.
Right. And people love dragons for some reason, you know.
I can't
Good dragons,
imagine why.
bad dragons, just dragons.
Just any kind of dragon. Any kind of dragon. But with every set, we get a slew of new mechanics to go along with them. Each of the clans from Tarkir has a set mechanic that is exclusive to the cards that are designed for that wedge, as well as several card types and features that are just kind of sprinkled amongst the various wedges and kind of overlap a bit more. The Abzan clan has the Endure mechanic. Endure is followed by a number. I believe pretty much all of them are 1 to 3. When the creature enters, you put X +1/+1 counters, where X is the number after Endure, on the creature with Endure, or you create an XX White Spirit creature token. Notably not with flying, which is unfortunate. But you can either choose, for the Endure creature when it enters, you can choose to make it even bigger, or you can split that power up and put it onto a different body onto the battlefield. The Jeskai has the Flurry mechanic. It is a triggered effect whenever you cast your second spell in a turn, not just your own turn, notably. It can be on other people's turns as well. And Flurry cards do not have to see the first spell. So if the first spell you cast is the Flurry card and you cast a spell after it, it does trigger the Flurry ability.
Nice.
The Flurry card, so it is a myriad of triggered abilities. Most of them are on creatures, and they do things like give the creature double strike, give it +1/+1, that sort of thing. One of the cards I am most excited about, it creates a 1/1 monk with prowess. We'll get to that later with the individual cards. I love it, and it's one of the bombs
and prowess,
of the set.
who would have thought?
I know, right? Who could have possibly guessed? Speaking of, one of the evergreen mechanics that shows up on a lot of things is prowess. Sultai has the Renew mechanic. It's an activated ability at sorcery speed where you pay the cost of the Renew ability, which also includes exiling the activated card from your graveyard. So it's an ability you can activate from cards in your graveyard. And then it puts counters onto a creature, usually +1/+1, but they do have some other kinds of counters, reach, death touch, etc. And some even have additional effects as well when you activate them. Mardu has the Mobilize mechanic. It also is followed by a number. Whenever the creature attacks, you create X tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature tokens, where X is the Mobilize number. And then you sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Lastly, the Teamer clan has Harmonize. It is a variant of the Flashback mechanic. You can cast the card from your graveyard for its harmonized costs. The harmonized cost for all of them is notably much larger than the casting cost, and that is because you may tap a creature to reduce the cost by X, where X is the creature's power, and then you exile the spell from your graveyard when you cast it. So Harmonize in some ways is a more efficient flashback because you get a cost reduction on the spell that you are harmonizing. And the cost reduction could be so much that it's even cheaper to cast from the graveyard in certain situations than the actual full market value mana cost of the spell in question. So those are the 5 mechanics from the clans. Obviously, I'm a little Jeskai slut myself, so I'm a big fan of the flurry mechanic. Wyatt, as you feed your beautiful, beautiful child, which mechanic kind of stands out to you as your favorite from the clans?
Gotta be mobilize. I love a good combat step ability. This is something that wants you to be attacking. It's very reminiscent to me of the raid mechanic, which we've talked about in the past. So I'm all for some mobilize. Plus, I love that the tokens stick around after combat. I was really surprised to say that they go till the end step. Because most of the time with things that make tokens in combat, it's usually till the end of the combat step, and then they go away. So you have to kind of get a little creative with how you get rid of the tokens before they're gone. But these stick around, so you have plenty of time to maybe do something in main phase 2, or just wait and let them be sacrificed at the end. They don't get exiled.
That is true.
So you, again, benefit from them going to the graveyard.
It is everything that Mardu wants to be doing. It's giving you extra fodder for combat damage so you can swing in, sacrifice fodder for all of the delicious Mardu card draw spells, removal spells that have a sacrifice creature clause. And then just like classic aristocrat strategy of just death triggers on other permanents. Yeah, mobilize is very just everything Mardu wants to be doing packed into just one ability. I of course love flurry. I love casting a lot of spells, love slinging spells. But I think Teamer got away with possibly the most powerful mechanic of the set with Harmonize.
Oh, by far.
Flashback is a super powerful ability in and of itself, and then having a variant of Flashback where you can reduce the cost without spending any meaningful mana. If you've got a big creature in play that you don't want to attack with, or if you've got a small creature in play that you don't want to attack with, or one with summoning sickness, if you're not able to attack a vigilant creature, any of these things can be tapped down to massively reduce the cost of some of these very, very powerful spells that have Harmonize.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, you're
powerful.
in green, so you're going to have big creatures.
Oh, yeah.
That might not have haste, so, you can very easily just be like, okay, well, I'll use this to Harmonize. So
Absolutely. And in the second main, you got a vigilant creature that's able to attack. You can do its second main to get the same kind of value out of it. Beautiful mechanic, super powerful. It's on a creature tutor that is very reminiscent of Green Sun Zenith.
Yep.
And having a Green Sun Zenith that you can basically very easily cast twice in a turn. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good thing there are no 2-card creature combos, or that would be crazy.
Yeah, they've done a really good job about making sure there are 0 2-card creature combos in the Magic. Some other mechanics of note. We have a new card type, along with 2 new mechanics, and 1 predominantly returning mechanic. The Omen is a new type of card. It is very similar to the adventure cards that we originally got from Eldraine. You have a permanent. In this case, all of the Omen cards are attached to dragon creatures that you can cast, or you can choose to instead cast the Omen half, which is its own completely separate spell once it is placed onto the stack. They are all fairly well costed compared to adventures. They had to balance them because when you cast the adventure side of an adventure card, the permanent or the creature will go into exile that you could cast at any time. For Omens, it's different. When you cast the Omen side, it gets shuffled back into your library. So all the Omen spell chunks are much more fairly costed in mana value because they don't have to worry about you basically just getting a free extra card in your hand forever. And it gets shuffled back away. So if you have... there's the mono red common dragon where the Omen side is 1 in a red, discard a card, draw 2.
Yep.
And just being able to loop that through your deck in a 60 card format, if you got 4 of them and you've got the Ether Drift Shark Marauding Mako, whenever you discard a card, you get a +1/+1 counter. there's a lot of synergies that can happen there. I've been kind of brewing that standard deck in my head for a little bit. Omen cards, very fun adventure variant.
Really glad that you specified that, because when I first saw the set, you know, I went into it not even thinking about it. I just saw the split card. I was like, okay, so they got adventure cards, you know, it's whatever. And then later, as I'm like brewing around these cards, I look and I'm like, that says Omen. What is that? And then I read and I'm like, it gets shuffled back into the deck. Ugh, that changes everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Being able to repeat cast spells over and over and over again, and it just not ever really hit the graveyard. A lot of fun things. I feel like there's going to be some weird shenanigans with decks that run these cards.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We also have the Behold mechanic. It is an additional cost mechanic associated with dragons. As an additional cost to cast the spell that has Behold, you can either choose to point at a dragon that you have in play and be like, look, there's a dragon that I have in play. Or you can reveal a dragon card from your hand. If you do, the spell has an additional effect. They're usually the spells are actually fairly costed even if you don't behold a dragon in most cases.
Right.
And then just you get gravy on top if you're able to be like, hey, look, I've got a dragon in play, or show that you have one in your hand.
Yeah. It's just a way to flex on them, you know, be like, hey, this is coming. This is what
Flexing
I got.
on the haters. Flexing on the haters. There are also monocolor hybrid mana in this set. There are some spells that have 3 colors of mana associated with the clans, and to make them slightly easier to cast, they are hybrid mana, so you can choose to pay 1 mana of a specific color, or you can instead choose to pay 2 mana of any color. So the spells can either be 6 colorless mana to cast, or 3 of specific colors that fit within the clans, or any combination therein to cast. Just an easy way to cast some of these more difficult to cast spells at a higher mana cost. And then lastly, Surveil has returned. It's an evergreen mechanic. Look at the top X cards of your library. You can put any of them into your graveyard, return the rest to the top of your library in any order you want. I would argue a better scry.
Yeah.
Surveil's fantastic. And then, of course, you've got like the prowess and your other standard kind of keyword abilities on various cards. You already mentioned a little bit about the omens. What do you think of Behold and the hybrid mana we got going on?
I love seeing hybrid mana. I feel that it really opens up the versatility of cards, because, you know, when you build on a budget mana base, there's almost no guarantee you're going to have all the colors you need all the time. Mm-hmm. So having hybrid mana is a huge help. I cannot overstate that. And as far as Behold a Dragon goes, I really am kind of indifferent about that. Like, I'm on one side, I don't like the idea of revealing cards in your hand to your opponent, especially like your more powerful ones. It's one thing if you're using the Snarls and you're revealing lands, because it's like, this land's about to come into play, so I'll play Furycom Snarl and show you a Plains. It's like, okay, well, I know that one of the cards in his hand is now a Plains, and it'll probably come down next turn. But when you reveal a dragon, people are going to be like, oh, there's, you know, there's not going to be a bad dragon, is what I'm saying. When people see what dragon you're revealing, for the most part, you're going to be revealing, like, Terror of the Peaks or something. So they're going to then turn around and be like, you got to go. Before you can cast that, you're the problem, you need to leave.
I think Behold's going to be a better mechanic in dragon decks when you're able to get a dragon in play. And just be like, look, I have a dragon in play. And then you get an additional effect. That's the mode that you want to be operating with this card. But if you really want that extra effect, hope you have some of those Omen dragons that aren't all that scary. That's what I would choose to reveal, personally. All right. Before we get into some specific cards, there are some cycles of cards and a couple of notable cards that we want to bring up at the top. The top cards of the set. We got 2 Planeswalkers, Ugin and Elspeth. Elspeth is a token doubler that +1s to create a token, which is 2. And then Ugin, a colorless Planeswalker, where it turns all your colorless spells into removal. And then it also produces mana for you. So no way you can bust those cards wide open at all. No shot.
Not at all.
Also, there's a new Mox.
You would know.
I pulled 2 of them. It's like the worst Mox that's been printed, I would argue. I would rather have the Suspend Mox, personally. Yeah, it's a 0-mana artifact that taps for a mana of any color, but only if you control a dragon, which it can trigger off of changelings in a commander format.
It's not like I built a deck around it thinking it was going to be cheap because of that reason.
Mox is still a Mox.
Yeah, Mox is still a Mox. You got that right.
Mox is still a Mox. I can't wait to trade them both in and put that towards a play booster box of Final Fantasy because I'm a degenerate. I'm a degenerate commander player.
So obviously those are the big...
So those are the 3 big chase cards of the set. Thank you, Wyatt. A couple of cycles that I want to go through. There's the Siege Enchantment cycle. These sieges have 2 modes on them when they enter the battlefield that are representative of 2 clans that share a color. So each of these sieges are 2-color enchantments that one of each of the colors that is associated with one of the other clans. You can choose one of those clans when they ETBs, and then it has that static ability while it is on the battlefield. They can be flickered to change them, but you can't change them once they're already on the battlefield. The Dragonstorm enchantments are enchantments that have ETB effects and then sit on the battlefield and basically do nothing, but they bounce back to your hand if you cast a dragon spell. Notably, they are not triggered when you cast the Omen half of a dragon card, because when it enters the stack as an Omen, it is an instant or a sorcery and not a dragon at that point. The Devotee creatures, which I think is my favorite little mini cycle. It's a cycle of monocolor common creatures that, without having to tap, without having to pay extra mana into, can filter 1 mana to any of the 3 mana of the associated clan's colors of your choice. You can only do it once per turn, so you can't be infinitely filtering colorless mana.
Tap and tap.
But they're still very good cards, and they're all costed at like 1 or 2 mana. Very cheap, very easy to slot into the decks that you're building. Then lastly are the clan lands. Each land has an associated clan with them. They are monocolor lands. They enter onto the battlefield tapped unless you control a land of the basic land type of the 2 associated clans' colors. So, for example, the Jeskai land, it's the monastery. It's the red one. It enters untapped if you control a plains or an island, and then they all have an activated ability that just gives them additional value as a utility land. The blue one, the Mistrise Village, is by far the best one because you can pay 1 blue mana and then tap that land, and the next spell you cast is uncounterable.
So good.
It's
so good.
A 2-mana tax to ensure that your spell resolves is a tax that a lot of players are going to be willing to pay on their most expensive spells. Yes, it's only 1 mana to activate, but you have to tap a land and pay a mana into it, so you're effectively spending 2 mana to do that. Of the cycles of cards that we've got, nothing is like super crazy. I think that one particular clan land is like the Mistrise Village is like the huge standout. But none of these cycles are bad. They're all very solid, good design cards.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I especially like the Dragonstorms. Those, I just love the fact that they can come back to your hand so you can get, like, multiple cast off. The red one's my personal favorite because it's like a cascade effect.
Yeah.
So if you are running dragons, you know, you can hit another one, it bounces back to your hand, cast it again, and just keep going.
So I recently built a Ruby Daring Tracker deck. It's the Gruul 2-mana mana dork that taps for red or green. Mm-hmm. And she's one of, like, the commander is one of, like, 3 or 4 cards that's less than 4 mana in the deck. So I'm running, like, all of the 4 mana ramp possible. The green Dragonstorm enchantment is ETB for 4 mana. You get 2 basic lands onto the battlefield tapped. And I run, like, 5 dragons, because it's just a bunch of big creatures.
Yeah.
And there's several Cascade and Discover cards, so I'm regularly getting dragons into play. So it's just kind of an easy bounce back to hand. I can ramp yet again over and over and over again, just get a ton of land into play. It's been very fun to goldfish with. I can't wait to try it out at the local game store.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, all good cards. The sieges, I think, are each half of the sieges is a little bit less powerful than you would like for the mana cost, but you do get the flexibility. So
You take it where you can.
you take it where you can. At this point, we're going to go through some cards of note. There's some very powerful cards that we can mention. There's some very small cards that we can mention. We're going to go back and forth. Wyatt, I'm going to put you on the spot. We're each going to pick 5, and then we're going to rapid fire some honorable mentions. So what's the card you want to lead off with?
Starting off, one of my favorite cards from this set, Flamehold Grappler. Jeskai, so blue, red, white for a 3/3 human monk with first strike. When this creature enters, copy the next spell you cast this turn. When you cast it, you may choose new targets for the copy. This goes so crazy with, like, clone spells or any kind of way you can, like, get a copy of it, because now you're getting 2 of that spell. And I feel like in my head, there's a way to, like, chain up, you know, to kind of just make it infinite somehow. I haven't cracked it yet, but I'll figure it out. But that one right there just stands out as something that people should be keeping an eye on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything that's going to be copying spells, I think 3 mana is like a fairly reasonable cost for copying a spell in general, at least in like a casual commander format. But it also leaving behind a 3 mana 3/3 first striking body.
Yeah. Also, let's not forget, it's just an enters ability. It's not a cast. You could drop this out early. It's a first strike 3/3. So you have protection. And now you attack, main phase 2, you blink it. Now the next spell you cast is doubled. An extra turn spell, mayhaps, or something. Now you have 2 turns.
And then if you have more blink spells, you can churn through that deck suddenly.
Oh.
A little Jeskai brew going on there. No, that one for like 40 cents too. Like, it's a bulk rare.
Crazy.
A very solid bulk. There's a lot of really solid rares that are well under $1 right now.
And the card art itself is just giving JoJo vibes. So if you like being a stand user, this is like the perfect card for you.
I'm a Persona fan myself, so I appreciate a stand myself. I'm
you
totally
stand
into
to
that.
stand.
I do stand a stand, for sure. For sure.
But I've rambled on long enough. Connor, what stands out to you? What card is on your mind?
Well, it's really cutting me up that I've had to wait so long to talk about this card. Notably, it is a rare that is not less than $1. It is, in fact, $13 to $15 a copy. That is the the artifact equipment Corey Steel Cutter. For 1 and a red, you get an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has haste and trample. You can equip for 1 and a red. Pretty reasonable, right? Well, it's not reasonable because it has the flurry mechanic on it. It's the one non-creature flurry card that I believe in the entire set. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess. You may attach this equipment to it.
And there it is.
And there it is. Auto include in my wonderful Narset Enlightened Exile deck that has gotten many a fantastic upgrade from this set, I might add. Several cards have immediately gone into this deck. It is making massive waves in basically every format that it's legal in right now, which is all of them except Pauper and Penny. Standard, there's already a bunch of very powerful mono-red Boros Izzet decks that have Corey Steelcutter as a centerpiece card. If you have 3 mana available to you, you can cast it and then a cantrip of some kind, and suddenly you have a 2/2 trample haste prowess creature on your hands. It is a slam dunk in any format. If you're slinging 1 and 2 mana spells around, it is so powerful. I would not be surprised. It would break my heart a little bit, but I would not be surprised if some card down the line gets printed that for whatever reason works so well that it could catch a standard ban.
It is just that powerful.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because for the reason you said, second spell, not just during your turn, anyone's turn. So you could, in theory, you could be really pumping out some prowessy monks.
And they're getting haste, too, so you're able to use them immediately without summoning sickness. If you're casting a third spell and more, they're going to be getting prowess procs on the turn they come down and attacking. It effectively says, 2 mana, if you cast another spell this turn, I become a 2/2 trample haste prowess creature.
And as someone who has played Monastery Swiftspear, can prowess get out of hand?
Very, very quickly it can, in fact. It's one
You
of
don't
the
say.
It's one of the more standard keywords where you can have multiple instances of it on the same card. If you have a creature with prowess and then something else that's giving it prowess, it has prowess. So it gets
Right.
+2/+2 for each non-creature cast. And it's non-creature casts, too. It's not just instants and sorceries. It's not magecraft. Like,
Yeah, that's what's so crazy about it. It's such a great mechanic because it's so simplistic with
simple.
like wide-reaching like implications.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you want
And
to buff your creatures and draw cards at the same time? Here, just play a card draw spell.
It turns opt from a standard cantrip. It turns preordained to like a standard cantrip to a buff spell. If you have instant speed cantrips, they become combat tricks in addition to cantrips. Like it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I'm seeing modern, like more. I think Boros Energy has been trying it out in modern. I wouldn't be surprised if Pioneer it shakes things up there, fucks up the format.
For sure.
It is a powerhouse. It is a powerhouse of a card. That's enough rambling about my beloved Corey Steelcutter. What do you have?
My next one kind of pairs with my first one because this is something I was very excited about. I have a brew on it, working on a video. Shiko, Paragon of the Way, is a 5-mana legendary creature, spirit dragon, 4/5 with flying and vigilance. And when Shiko enters, exile target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. Copy. Then you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. So you are still getting cast triggers. You're getting tokens. And this thing can copy blink spells, which if you blink this creature, you get to do it again. So you're basically turning any 3-cost creature into a token, which you can then populate.
Now, I'm envisioning. Let's say, for example, there was a wonderful Jeskai card that helped you copy things and gained a lot of value from blinking it.
Yeah.
In this very set, even. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. No,
Picking up what I'm putting down.
This is probably one of the most fun commanders to build around from the set.
Oh yeah, when I originally saw it, I wasn't super interested in it because I was like, oh well, I was kind of writing it off as just like, oh, why would I want to exile the cards from my graveyard? Even if I'm getting copies of them, they're gone forever, and if they get wiped, I was like writing it off. But my buddy built a deck of it and was like, hey, this thing packs a punch. You really probably should take a look at it. And I did, and from that point I was like, oh my god, like, the wheels really started turning into, like, oh, ooh, this just opens up a wide range of possibilities because it's so versatile. It can literally do Spell Slinger, it can do tokens, it can do blink strategies, it can do impact trimmer vibes, there's all kinds of stuff that it can do. And for a 5-mana dragon, I mean, come on now.
No, I love a blink. I love a flicker. I love a copying of a spell. Yeah, just slinging spells all over the place. The possibilities are so much more wide open for Shiko than like your standard kind of, is it Boros, not even really Boros, but like, is it Jeskai level of Spellslinger deck?
Oh yeah, and I really wanted to pair this with Song of the World Soul, which is a little bit more expensive. It's out of my budget, but I really wanted to pair it with that because then each time you make a token, you cast the copy. So when you cast it, you get a World Song trigger, so you can populate the token you just made.
So, you see why I love my Narset deck so much, man?
Yeah.
Casting copies, man. Copy a spell, cast it again. Get a prowess proc. Flicker.
But speaking of copies, second verse, same as the first. Let's see what card you're thinking of.
Listen, I'm a little Jeskai slut. Okay. But we've had now 3 cards in a row that are very firmly in that wedge.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to break out of that wedge. All right? I'm going to slum it in the mud in the graveyard with my Sultai brethren real quick. We're going to pull up another bulk rare, the Sib-Sig Ceremony. Sib-Sig Ceremony is a 3-mana black legendary enchantment. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. The downside, of course, whenever a creature you control enters, if you cast it, destroy that creature, and then you create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. Zombie druid, the token, it synergizes very well with the Sultai commander deck that cares a little bit more about druids. There's a lot of zombie druids going on there. This is a very easy way to abuse ETB and death triggers on creatures in a Sultai deck. This is an easy upgrade into the Sultai Arisen deck. Easy. 2 mana cost reduction on your creatures. You do get a 2/2 at the end of it while getting the ETB or the death trigger. Sometimes some of these things trigger on ETB and death. They synergize with any ETB effects you have on the board already, anything that wants your creatures to die. And then if you're just able to reanimate them, you're not casting the spell. And then the Sib-Sig Ceremony will let that creature stick around on the battlefield if you have some way to bring them back without casting them from your graveyard. Very synergistic piece, and you can pick up the basic version for 30 cents or the weird alternate art that makes me a little bit uncomfy for 66 cents.
Crazy.
Super powerful card. You're not a Sultai boy?
Oh, I am.
Does it tickle you in the right way?
It does, because I was about to talk about a Sultai-esque card myself. Ooh. Mostly mono black.
Okay. Well, what do you got? Then?
I have Avenger of the Fallen. A 3-mana 2/4 human warrior with Death Touch. And it has Mobilize X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Now, in Sultai, and in basically any color that would include black, you have ways to mill your creatures. I'm thinking of like old Stick Fingers, Ramstein, old trusty Ramstein, and when you fill your graveyard up, you're gonna get a bunch of Mobilize triggers, which again, these are tapped and attacking 1/1s, so they have to either block or find some way to deal with them. Then they die, and you would get death triggers from those. And I just feel that is going to be backbreaking in the right deck. I just feel like it's almost insurmountable, especially in something like Ishin, where you would get 2 attack counters, so you would mobilize X twice. And even if X is only 3, that's now 6.
No, that's... It backbreaking is a very good word for it. And you call out the Sultai synergies that are trying to fill the graveyard. I mean, this is... Even with Mardu. This is Mardu through and through. You're wanting to sacrifice your own creatures anyway. I mean, you don't just have to sacrifice tokens. You're going to have plenty of creature cards in the graveyard for various Mardu-based creature combos, for... just value of sacrificing creatures, spending them through combat and being killed in combat. Yeah. No, it is an exceptional payoff and continuous fuel. It's like throwing lighter fluid onto the campfire.
Absolutely, especially with that that commander you have, Alesha.
Oh, Alesha, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can stack the triggers where the mobilize goes off first, so you have maximum mobilization, and then you can reanimate. So you get the maximum mobilize, and you get a creature back.
Absolutely. Alesha, who smiles at death, is the commander I'm running in particular, which also runs the other new Alesha from Foundations in the 99.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yes, the new.
Yes,
Alesha.
that one where if you were to go and check out on this channel, the Dungeon Bros channel, where we did the 2024 roundup, a little chaos limited environment where we took one pack from every set that released in 2024. Built decks out of them. I had a very mean combo with Alesha, who laughs at fate, and
Recruiter of the Guard,
to just like I
and
could
a slingshot show off.
That deck was cracked. I got some great cards in my pool for that. It felt a little bit unfair, but I wasn't going to stop it in any way, shape, or form. Oh man, I'm so torn. I'm trying to hit a card of a different color. All right, we're gonna go to green. We have Nature's Rhythm. Okay. Oh gosh, I said it. I knew what it was. Nature's Rhythm. I already alluded to it earlier. It's $3 card. X green for a sorcery. You search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less. You put it onto the battlefield and then shuffle. More notably, it has Harmonize X green. To recast it again. So, let's say, for example, you had two creatures that kind of comboed together a little bit. Mm-hmm. And one of them had a bit more power. You cast it. X equals the mana value of that creature. That creature enters play. You can then tap that creature down to the Harmonize for 4 more mana to get the other half of the combo out. In some decks that have creature-based combos that win, this is a 1-card win condition if you have enough mana.
Yep. Easily.
Simple as that. $3 is not like backbreakingly expensive. It's not a bulk rare by any means, but it's definitely a card that's going to be looked at in CDH environments where they're trying to win on one turn. Creature combos are very prevalent right now. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to give the green cards a little bit of shout out. I feel like we've been hitting the same, which is totally fine. Don't get me wrong. I love all the cards we've been talking about quite a bit.
Unfortunately, when you get into wedges, a lot of colors overlap.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that was that my third one?
That was your third one.
That was my third one. All right, what was your fourth card, Wyatt? We're getting close to the end. You got to be more selective.
Is getting into my kind of wheelhouse of rares that are cheap but have hidden potential. I'm talking about the Iridescent Tiger. This is a 5 mana, 4 generic, 1 red for a creature cat 3/4 that says when this creature enters, if you cast it, add Ruberg mana. Mm-hmm. There is a card called Teamer Sabertooth that for 2 mana will allow you to bounce a creature, return it to your hand. If there was some kind of way to make your creature, I don't know, cheaper, say to maybe 1 to 2 mana, you now start netting mana. This is maybe not the best way to do it, but I feel like this is a solid way to go infinite with returning things to your hand. There's a bunch of cards that do that. And if you can find some kind of way to make this cost cheaper, even by 2 mana, 3 mana, you're only gaining more as you cast it. And I just think it's a really cool card.
Hear me out. Okay, hear me out. Are there cards that let you cast spells from your graveyard for their mana cost?
There are.
And you know the Sib 6 ceremony.
Yeah. Similar.
I feel like this hypothetical, you can cast spells from your graveyard this turn cards, plus the Sib 6 ceremony, plus this nets you infinite 2/2 zombie druids and infinite mana of
Yep.
non-red.
Non-red.
Am I mistaken in this? I feel like that's accurate.
I don't believe you are. I believe you are 100% on the money.
And for a 7-cent uncommon, that's really clearly just there to help you get some extra value for Teamer, Jeskai, and Mardu decks.
Yep.
I think that's pretty cool. The Tiger was one that I wanted to bring up, but I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to say about it until you brought up the fact you could combo with it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Like I
my
said,
brain immediately went to 5-color commander decks, and it's like, oh, okay, well, the first time you cast your commander, this is an easy way to just filter whatever mana you have as long as you have one red source. That's where my brain went, which is like dummy, boohoo, little kid brain.
I mean, it is a good... in theory, it is really good that way because you can get around missing certain colors. It will inevitably help with that, but in my head, my thing was, there's gotta be a way to make this infinite.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, boy. Oh, I've got to pick 2 cards now, huh?
You're telling me I gotta pick one really good for my finale.
That's true. Your finale of Devastation? Ooh, that card's not in the set. I'm going to bring up another bulk rare. It's a very low-key, powerful bulk rare. 18 cents. Stillness in Motion. For 1 and a blue, you get an enchantment that says, at the beginning of your upkeep, mill 3 cards. Then, if your library has no cards in it, exile this enchantment and put 5 cards from your graveyard on the top of your library in any order. The second half, whatever. If you manage to mill out your library, it's a way to save you. It's a way to set up a combo pile on the top. It is what it is. It's a long in the tooth doomsday pile.
Yeah.
But in any deck where you're going to be playing cards out of your graveyard fairly regularly, this might as well say, for 2 mana, you have an enchantment where you get to effectively draw 3 cards before you draw your draw step.
Yep.
I managed to pull this one, and my beloved Narset, it immediately went right in, along with the Corey Steelcutter. And this card does fucking work in Narset. It does so much work, in fact, that I found myself, whilst gold fishing, gravitating toward trying to dig and find it. And then, as such, pulled out some cards and put some graveyard recursive elements that exist in white, Savine's Reclamation, most notably, so I can get the permanent cards that I'm milling over out of the graveyard as well. And if you can slap a Stillness Emotion on turn 2 or 3 in a deck where you're playing out of your graveyard, man, you're going to get so much good value out of it. And for an 18-cent rare, like,
Come on.
beautiful. Beautiful. I'm seeing in my mind's eye weird standard mill decks where it's like you're getting 2 copies of this down, maybe a 3rd copy of it down on a later turn. You're milling 9 cards on your upkeep every single turn. Like, it's gonna enable something.
Yeah. So, there's got to be something there.
I don't know quite what that is going to specifically be at this juncture, but there's definitely something there with that. Stillness in Motion. Stillness in Motion. One of my personal favorite cards of the set. And very cheap. Highly
Such
recommend.
a good card.
Wyatt, you got 1 shot. Do not miss your chance to blow.
And I won't. And I'm going to end talking about one of my favorite cards from one of my favorite clans. That is the Mardu Siegebreaker. I went back and forth as if I would talk about this because I knew it was going to be a popular one. Mm-hmm. But a 4-mana 4/4 human warrior, Death Touch Haste. When this creature enters, exile up to 1 other target creature you control until this creature leaves the battlefield. So you're going to get the creature back. Whenever this creature attacks, for each opponent, create a tapped token that's a copy of exiled card attacking that opponent at the beginning of your end step. Sacrifice those tokens. I love that this focuses on the end step because it lets you get extra additional effects that you normally would not get because the tokens get exiled at the end of combat. This does so much.
You get death triggers on those bitches.
Right, you get death triggers too. That's what makes this so crazy. If you exile something like Boss's Chauffeur, which is a card that gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control, and then when it dies, you make as many 1/1s as equal to its power, each one that comes in is going to be like, even if it's just this card at all, you're slowly building up. This is a card that will have to be dealt with, and I just feel that a 4-mana 4/4 with Death Touch and Haste, I mean, this is coming down and instantly swinging, so your opponents need to have an answer then.
It has everything that it needs contained all within itself on a 4-mana 4/4 body. The haste, getting the token creation on the turn it comes down, is huge. Death Touch to deter blockers, so it's less likely to be killed in combat, and as such, you'll get more combat steps with it. This going with extra combats even is crazy.
Oh yeah, you get this with a Port Razor or a Bloodthirster. I mean, you're going to town. It's infinite.
No, it's one of the best value mobilize-esque cards in the set. This isn't my pick. This is an honor. I'm doing one of the honorable mentions. What's the Mardu card where you don't have to sacrifice creatures on your end step anymore?
That would be Zurgo.
Yeah. That goes hard in Zurgo.
It does. It does, especially if the tokens you make are warriors.
Man.
A lot of benefits.
Man. No good warriors in this set, though, sadly.
Yeah.
Not a single one. It's unfortunate. Nope. It's unfortunate. All right. It's been long enough.
All right, let's hear your last one. Your final card.
Instant staple. Instant staple. Immediate staple. CEDH staple.
Oh.
Nonetheless. That is Voice of Victory.
Oh,
1 and a white for a 1/3 human bard. It's got Mobilize 2, and opponents can't cast spells during your turn. It doesn't hit as much as Grand Abolisher, but for 1 generic and 1 white, it's easier to cast than Grand Abolisher. It gets some value for you when you attack, creating 2 1/1 tokens that are also attacking. You can sacrifice them for value. It is
Tymna.
Wonderful for Tymna. Wonderful for oh my god, the red creature.
Nylea.
Not Nylea. Nylea is the Theros god. What are you on about?
I thought Nylea was the red that makes warriors.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we're such bad Magic fans. MTG Red Warrior Legend. Ooh. What is it? Oh my god. I'm so bad at Magic. How did I not prepare for this in any way, shape, or form?
Najeela. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. I got it. I got there.
Oh my god. That was so embarrassing. I should feel sorry for myself. But
what are you talking about?
It is auto include for Najeela.
Mm-hmm.
Auto include for Najeela. CEDH, you're wanting to protect combos. It's as simple as that. Anything that locks out your opponents from casting spells, casting counter spells more specifically, is going to be a card that you want in your deck. For 2 mana with a big booty, it's a 1/3, so it's a good blocker. Creates some 1/1s if you are attacking with it. Instant CEDH staple.
Instant.
And Nature's Voice of Victory and Nature's Rhythm, I think, are the 2 big cards that are going to have CEDH impact from this set.
Oh, for sure.
By
sure.
Fucking far. By far. Wyatt, you got one.
Oh, I
No,
thought
no.
the Mardu
Oh my
one
God.
was my
You
last
went
one.
first. You went first. That's right. We got honorable mentions now. Some cards that I guess didn't quite make the cut for us to talk about in depth, but are worth mentioning nonetheless. We have a new... You can have any number of these in your deck. The Tempest Hawk. The worst one, in my opinion.
Right.
2 and a white. When it ETBs, you can search for another Tempest Hawk and put it in your hand.
So they couldn't all be bangers.
They couldn't all be bangers. It's the only common that you'll find that'll be more than $1, so that's fun. For me, a couple more. We got to mention Dracogenesis.
Of course.
Has to be said.
Course.
1 mana less than Omniscience, and you can free cast all your dragon spells. You might as well just take the extra mana if you're in blue and cast Omniscience instead.
Well, actually, I figured out why it's specifically worded like that, because I thought the same thing. I was like, why not just play Omniscience? But this says you can cast dragon spells from anywhere. Omniscience specifically states only cast spells from your hand. So this is literally 8 mana, play your commander, Tiamat, get all your dragons, cast all your dragons. Mm-hmm. If you exile dragons, you get to cast those.
And once you've chained together all those dragons and you've run out, you can cast the last dragon that we should mention, which I believe is the Stormscale Scion. It's a double entendre. It's a reference to Mark Rosewater's Stormscale, which is a name for a system where he put a bunch of mechanics onto a scale, how likely they are to return. Storm being on the end where it's not likely to return as like a core mechanic of a set. It'll be on one-off cards. In this case, it's a 5-mana big fuck-off dragon that gives other dragons you control +1/+1 and has Storm. So you can use Dracogenesis, get Tiamat out, cast all the dragons that you're getting, empty your hand, end with the Stormscale Scion. They're going to be getting like +7/+7, and then you're off to the races.
And like that, boom. One I want to talk about is the Embermouth Sentinel. It is a 2-mana artifact creature chimera that says when this creature enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. If you control a dragon, put that card onto the battlefield tapped instead. So basically, if you had a changeling that you could get out early, which there are some 1-mana changelings, this can very quickly turn into a combo piece where you bounce it and cast it again, because it's an artifact. There's all kinds of ways to reduce the casting cost of artifacts. It's a creature, very easy to bounce, to find a way to bounce it. And if you have something like, say, Spelunking, or anything that would let you untap lands as they come in, this really quickly lets you churn through your deck, grab your basics, get all of them out, and have a buttload of mana left over.
Yes. I would never think to combo with this kind of a common, but here we are. I would be remiss if I were to ignore the Craterhoof in the room. Craterhoof Behemoth has been reprinted. It's in standard now, so that's a choice.
Shout out to the hoof.
Shout out to the hoof. Be hoofing it. I also want to shout out to the first unconditional mono red mana dork with the Sunset Strike Master. It's a 2-mana mono red mana dork. You can tap for a red mana. No restrictions on what you can use to cast it. No restrictions on something having to allow it to tap for mana. And then you can pay a bunch of mana into it and sack it to deal 6 damage to a flying creature when it is no longer useful as a mana dork anymore. And then, of course, probably could have put this in card cycles earlier. In addition to the commander decks having the cons and the spirit dragons, the main set has their own cons as well as spirit dragons for each of the clans as well. And some of the up and coming con replacements for the end of the story as well. So some clans have a couple of cons, which is pretty neat.
I really just want to shout out one last card. Call the Spirit Dragons, a win con, 5 colors. You know, they unbanned Coalition Relic, but Call the Spirit Dragons came first.
That's true. That's true. Man. Coalition Victory. Call it the Spirit Dragons. Iridescent Tiger.
Yep.
They're trying to let you do something here.
They're trying to let you cook. You just got to figure out what the ingredients are.
They really want you to do something gross and filthy. And I'm all
Yes.
here for it. I'm all here for it. That is Tarkir Dragonstorm, the newest Magic the Gathering set, the already fan beloved.
Oh yeah,
Magic
fan
the Gathering
favorite, I
set.
would say.
Absolute fan favorite. Probably going to be a lot of Magic fans' favorite set of the year. I'm a big Final Fantasy guy, so I'm gonna probably really like the Final Fantasy set more, and that's just because I'm a filthy Commander player. But
Oh, I thought you were
Such
going to
is
say a
life
filthy
sometimes.
Universes Beyond enjoyer.
I'm a filthy enjoyer of certain Universes Beyonds. Okay, miss me with the Assassin's Creed. I don't need no Doctor Who. I'm Spider-Man. Ooh, thwip thwip, haha, funny. But Lord of the Rings,
Wait,
Final Fantasy.
You didn't want to rule this town, Spider-Man? You and me and you?
This town ain't big enough. Just another card that's making waves in Standard from OTJ. Anyway, Wyatt, do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to say about Tarkir Dragonstorm?
No, I just want to say that I hope everyone enjoys the set. You know, it is a Magic Universes Within, as it's been called. And I just think that the more people enjoy this, the more likely Wizards is to hear us, see our dollar signs, appreciate that, and maybe take the hint that people want more of this.
Mm-hmm. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's the one in-universe non-hat set of the year.
Right.
You know? We've had Ether Drift, so all of your favorite people wearing motorcycles.
Yep. So a set all about family.
All about family. You gotta have family. It's all about family. And then, of course, we're going to be getting your space opera.
Of course.
Classic Magic themes there.
Yeah, everyone knows that the Blind Eternities is actually just an opera stage.
Yeah.
Where we will fight the Phantom.
Yeah. No, there it is. It feels like the Magic of old in a lot of ways. Some people would say the alternate art frames for the clans specifically doesn't really feel like old Magic. It feels like weird, modern. We got to have 6 varieties of a whole bunch of cards Magic, but I like them.
Hey,
I like
they
'em.
look nice, and I'm always for any kind of way to get more cards into people's hands and keep those cards cheap. Because the
cheap.
cheaper the cards are, the better my budgets are.
Absolutely. With that, I think we can finally turn the page on Tarkir Dragonstorm. Enjoy your arenas matches. Enjoy your local Friday night magics. Build a commander. Zergo's going to be really good.
Shiko's going to be really good.
Shiko's going to be really good.
Brew the dragons.
We did brew all the dragon. We didn't even bring up the Narset from this deck or from this set where you're self-wheeling basically every turn.
Or Taval.
Taval. Oh, Taval.
Imagine giving all your spells Delve.
I played against a Taval deck at my local game store like the week after Tarkir came out, and it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I repeat, do not let the Taval player resolve a Gitrog monster.
Ugh.
Don't do it.
I can only imagine.
Don't do it. Just don't. It doesn't. It just don't. It doesn't go well for anybody at the table, including the Taval player, because then suddenly they have a lot more to keep track of.
Yeah, you got to keep your brain on for that deck for sure.
We almost got him to mill himself out, so that was fun. That was our win con, was just let him cook and let him mill himself out, as long as one of us can survive. All right, let's close the book. Move on to the next chapter. Final Fantasy is the next set coming out. Hopefully, the review's in more of a timely fashion to the release of the set. It's been busy.
Yeah.
Also, side tangent. I'm on day 3 of 12 in a row working. Got a lot of overtime coming up because we've got a marathon. We've got a marathon going on in the city of Cincinnati, the Flying Pig Marathon, and as a worker of television, I'm working a lot of overtime broadcasting that bitch. So you're gonna tell in the next time we record, I'm gonna be like deceased, sunken eyes, like perishing in front of you on camera. So hopefully that's entertaining. Hopefully you found this entertaining in some silly way. We say a lot of dumb shit, so I hope
we do.
I hope you enjoy
Mostly
that.
me.
Please subscribe to the Dungeon Bros. You can get this podcast early and ad-free on Patreon, patreon.com/Dungeon Bros, the $5 a month tier. Probably should have done this at the beginning, but call to action.
You plug where you can.
Exactly. Go check
Do
out
we have
Wyatt.
any questions?
Drop them. Drop the questions. Go check out Wyatt on YouTube at Typical Gemini. He's got wonderful budget deck techs. Called out a lot of bulk rares. They're probably going to be able to go in some decks.
There's something in the works.
I'm just putting that out there. Sounds like a great idea to me. With all that being said, we'll see you for Final Fantasy. We love you very much, and as always,
Sayonara.